Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So as you guys can see by the title for today's video, today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Most of you probably know that I did lose Butter earlier this week, and it's been really hard and I'm still dealing with it. I don't want to talk a lot about it in this video because I really don't want to get upset or cry or anything, but it has been a few days, so I've had a few days to kind of process, and Patrick's been off work, so that's been really great having him home, and he's been helping me and stuff like that, which I'll give you guys an update on what I'm going to do, her tank and all that in another video. We're not going to talk about that here, but I do have Patrick with me today. We are going to go to a bird store that I've been to once before with you guys, and I really like this bird store. I will say I don't like their diets. This bird store is not perfect. It's not like some amazing bird store or anything like that, but I do want to go because I feel like I just need a little bit of change with everything that's been going on. I've been so stressed, and I do want to go back to this store because you can hold the birds there. They have a lot of them that you can like look at and stuff, and the lady who owns it is really nice, and she breeds the birds there at the store too, so I just kind of want to go and see them today. So I thought that that would be a fun video, kind of just to lift our spirits a little bit. I know it'll make me happy to go see them, so that's what we're going to go do today. I did want to say thank you to everyone who left really kind messages and sweet words on the Butter loss video. I really appreciate it. It meant a lot to me. You guys said a lot of really sweet stuff, and I know you guys loved her, and I just wanted to take a second to thank you guys because it really did make me feel better, and it meant a lot to me that you guys could feel my pain to some degree and that you could relate to me on that level, and it helped me to know that, you know, you guys were there for me. You guys left such sweet messages, so thank you for that to everyone who reached out, who texted me, who DM'd me, who commented, and it just meant a lot, so I really appreciate it. Patrick was really upset to lose Butter too. Do you have anything you want to say about it?
You know, she put a lot of effort into Butter, as you know. With the whole dropsy thing, it was a lot of patience, a lot of time went into it. You know, and she loved Butter, obviously, and losing a pet's never good, but there was a lot that went into that, and you know, I think she did the best that she could with what she had. Butter had a good life, and if it wouldn't have been for Lori with the dropsy, then Butter would have probably passed away a long time ago. So I think she gave, yeah, I think you gave her, you know, a lot of extra life that she wouldn't have got, you know, and it just so happens that, you know, if it was internal damage or anything like that, that's, you know, it's life, you know.
I've been telling myself that, like I've been trying to tell myself that, but it's hard, you know, because you never really know, but yeah, I just wanted to allow Patrick to have a second to say something because, you know, Patrick really loved Butter too. I mean, he would love feeding her, and he watched her, and she was just, I don't know how to explain it, but, you know, she was a pet, and you loved them, and, you know, even though he obviously wasn't her primary caretaker, you know, it was still one of his pets too, so, yeah, so, again, I'm going to do a formal update, another video talking about everything we're going to be doing with her tank and stuff like that later, but today, I want to go see the birds, I want to have fun, so we are going to go, and I hope you guys enjoy the video. Alright guys, as you can see, we are at the bird store. I'm going to be alternating between voiceover and probably music a little bit in these clips because it was very loud in there, and I know that some people don't like the noise of a lot of birds. It can be a little bit overwhelming if you're not used to it, and it is very loud in this store slash breeder place, so I do want to do some voiceover as well as some music and kind of explain to you guys what all we saw, and also some of the birds that I got to hold, and basically just explain to you guys my experience here because it was a lot of fun, and I really felt like I got a much more hands-on experience this time around. Because it's a bit hard to hear, I will just tell you guys, but basically the story with this beautiful African gray is she's about 8 to 10 years old, and she was actually a breeder's bird who bred her for many years, and he was done breeding and he was getting out of the hobby. So he brought her here to basically be sold as a pet. She is not very tame. They said she'll step up on a stick and she doesn't bite, but obviously she's not hand tame. You can't just reach in and get her or anything like that. But they did say that they actually had gotten 2 birds from this breeder and she was the last one left. All right, so we have made it over to the green cheek conures. Oh, I was so happy to see them. They had 3 pineapples and then some yellow-sideds in this cage together. They were only semi-hand tame, so they were pretty nippy, but I decided that I wanted to take some time and earn their trust and see if I could actually hold any of them. Now, the workers at this store are really big on just reaching into the cage and getting the most tame one to let you hold. But I very politely asked the worker not to do that because I did not want her to force any of the birds out. They're really big on that here, and it's something that I noticed the last time I was here, kind of getting a feel for the place. So I knew to expect them to do that this time around, so instead I asked her very politely if I could earn the bird's trust and then see which one was the most willing or trusting to come down and eat millet from my hand, and also in the hopes of getting one to come to the opening of the door on their own and potentially even step up. I knew that was a really far reach for me to hope for, but I wanted to try. So I actually stood here at their cage with the millet and I tested out which ones were comfortable with me feeding them the millet. Also, if there were any that were willing to step up, which unfortunately there wasn't, but there was one pineapple who was the most trusting of them all. And that's the one that you see the most eating off the millet. And he actually even eventually comes down to the door, which you're going to see, which was really sweet. That was pretty rewarding to see him know and trust that I'm not going to just reach in and grab him. He eventually did come down, and I was able to get him to actually come all the way out of the cage. He climbed up the door, and then he stepped up onto a stick, not my finger, because, again, he was really nippy. You're going to see him start to try and test my patience here shortly while I'm feeding him the millet. He basically tries to kind of nip me a few times, but that's okay. I think he was just testing me to see if I'm going to react or if I was going to jerk away or anything like that. You can see him here. He's the most bold of the 3 that were in there. He's also the most brave, but you can see he does try to test me a little bit. He tries to nip my fingers, I think about 3 or 4 times, but of course I didn't jerk away. I didn't make any fast movements, and I also didn't give up and pull away and like let him know that he won or anything like that. Birds are really, really perceptive, and they'll test you, and every little move you make, it really does impact their view of you and how much trust they have for you. So it was really important for me to not pull away and not jerk and not react crazy to him trying to nip me, but just stay calm and still offer the millet. After a little over 20 minutes, the most brave one finally did actually come over to the door. You can see that here. I was so happy that he was trusting enough to get that close to me, and obviously he wanted the millet, but still, him coming to the door on his own was really big, and I could tell that he was probably going to be the one the most willing to step up or climb out of the cage to be held and things like that. You can see me start to offer my finger to this one right here. However, he was not willing. He was definitely much more skittish. So again, I stopped. I didn't pursue him in the cage or anything like that. And instead, I focused my energy back to the one who was the most willing to come to the door and things like that. And he eventually climbs out, which was pretty exciting. So I definitely knew he was going to be the most brave today. Here you can see I finally got him all the way out of the cage with nothing but the millet. I'm not using my hands. I'm not forcing him to do anything. He's kind of just coming out on his own. And of course, he does go to the highest point at the top of the cage, but he's still eating the millet. He's still calmed down. Now, normally, if he were nipping and things like that and I owned him at home, I wouldn't be rewarding him with millet, obviously. I acknowledge this, but for the means of getting him comfortable enough with me and to trust my hands, I felt like the millet was a good way to get him to kind of come out of the cage and get him closer to me with him knowing I'm not going to grab you. So I continued to offer the millet while he was on top of the cage. I actually let him stay up there for quite a while before trying to get him down with the stick, or rather the lady who works there did. I did offer my finger, and as you can see, he was willing to step up, but not on my finger, rather on the millet. So after allowing him to stay on top of the cage for a while, he did step up onto the rod, which is really, really good. And she was able to get him to step up on her hand as well, just to make sure he was okay and he was comfortable with stepping up and being held. And then we decided to go into a much quieter part of the store so that I could hold him. So here you can see I have him on my finger and he's still trying to step up on that millet, which is really funny because it's not a sturdy perch, you know, but he was really adorable and he was very open to stepping up on my finger. So I decided to go sit down with him just so that he didn't feel so nervous or have that nervous energy, to see that I'm calm, it's okay, everything's fine. And I offered him the millet several times because it basically would give his beak something to do besides try to bite. And if he was feeling like he wanted to nip, I wanted him to nip that millet, not my hand. Again, I'm not trying to reward nippiness, but to keep him from nipping, period, I felt was a good thing. So I kept that millet with me just to offer it to him in case I felt like he was gonna try. But he was actually doing really good. He wasn't trying to bite me at all. And I could still feel a little bit of nervous energy. So I decided to not have him stand on my hand, and I decided to put him on my leg instead, just to give him the option of being able to step up on my hand if he wanted to, but he didn't have to. He could just stand on my leg, and that was going to be totally fine. Surprisingly, after a few minutes of just allowing him to chill on my leg, he actually decided to come over and step up on my hand himself, which was really cute. He wasn't nipping. His nerves had completely calmed down, which was really nice, and it was just a really fun experience, and I'm really, really glad that I was able to spend so much time with these birds. Even though it took, 20, 30 minutes to get him to feel comfortable enough to come down, to crawl out of the door and come on top of the cage, it's just about trust building. And even though he's not my bird, and I understand I'm not perfect, and I'm sure I made a lot of mistakes, it's much better than just grabbing them and losing any type of trust you ever would have had with them. And you can see that obviously he came out on his own. He was willing to step up. I allowed him to stay on my leg himself, and I was rewarded with him coming over and climbing up on my hand himself and not nipping, which was really cool. It was a really nice experience, and I just really adore these little birds, and it was just a really good day. Alright guys, that is it for this vlog. Thank you guys so much for coming to the bird store with me. I hope you guys enjoyed seeing the birds. I had a lot of fun looking at them. I got to hold one of the pineapple conures, but unfortunately, just like last time, the majority of them are hand tamed to some extent, but they're not worked with like every single day, because obviously there are quite a few of them and there's only a couple workers there. There was one that doesn't mind being held. That's the one that I held. He was really, really sweet. I actually don't know if it was a boy or a girl, but I just called it a him, but he was super cute and I took some pictures with him as well. It was just nice to hold him and spend some time with him, and obviously take my time getting them out of the cage. Unfortunately, the workers at that store do kind of have a tendency to just go in and grab the bird, which obviously I don't like, so I told her not to do that, and I told her to just let the bird kind of come out on its own. That's why I was luring it with the millet, because they love millet. Most birds do. So I was able to get the bird that I held to actually come to the door opening and get more comfortable with being, you know, out of the cage, and then that's how I got it. So I felt more comfortable holding one by luring it out slowly rather than just going in and grabbing them like they tend to do there. But all in all, it was a good experience. I did like that actually the bird food diet was better this time than the last time. The last time all the cages just had like a bird seed, which is really bad, but this time she actually had multiple bowls in all of the cages, and they were being fed a birdseed mix, but also they also had Zupreme pellets, which was really nice to see because last time they didn't have the Zupreme pellets. So I was happy to see that they were being fed a little bit better. But like I said, this bird breeder / bird store isn't perfect, but they do let you hold the animals, and I really love holding the birds. So that was a fun experience. I hope you guys enjoyed going and looking at the birds with me today. That is it for this vlog. I will see you guys in my next video. Be kind. Bye.